Dear baby Jesus, I don't believe it. I'm betting on the Bears. I'm grabbing the points. Perhaps you've heard of a man by the name of Tyson Bagent, Basant Orange, as he's been called. Maybe you've heard of the Harlan Hill Trophy, which is given to the best Division II player in the country, the same award that Tyson Bagent won at Shepherd College. And where is Shepherd College? I had no idea. I had to look it up, and it's in, by God, West Virginia. Dude, the Chargers should not be laying 8.5 points to anyone right now. Brandon Staley's seat is so hot, he's sharing it with the devil, as he should be. This is a letdown spot for the Chargers, if there can be one after a loss, because they just went and had a divisional game against the Chiefs. Let's roll with the plucky kid, the kid with moxie, the kid who will steal our hearts in Los Angeles at least for one more week. This just seems like way too many points here. Bears plus 8.5 against the Chargers.
I think the other part of this handicap is the Chargers laying 8.5 points. If you look at the last 24 games for the Chargers, 18 of them have been within 7 points. The Chargers ain't blowing anybody out. But I think the play for me is, I think it's correlated. Because if you think the Bears can put up some points, you would like the over here. So I'll take the over 46.5 between the Bears and the Chargers. I think it's a buy low spot on this Chargers offense that's had back-to-back really tough games. They had to go against the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Those are two of the top 4 defenses in the NFL when it comes to points per game. Now, you get the Chicago Bears defense, who is the 4th worst defense when it comes to points per game. And also, look at this Chargers defense. They are giving up the most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks of any team in the NFL. If there's ever a chance for Tyson Bagent to put up some points here, it's against this Chargers defense. Plus, the Bears have been super hot to the over. 6-1 to the over this season. Let's ride the over between the Bears and the Chargers.
Oh, I love this. I just love this play. From any way you look at it, I think this is I like your bet. I like my bet. I'm going to be on that as well. I can't believe, God help me, that I'm so into the Bears and Chargers this weekend, but I am to take the field on Sunday Night Football at 8:20.
How about a little rivalry game action? Let's go to the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville and take the over between Georgia and Florida. This one opened at 48.5. It has risen to 49.5, and that's where I'm going. I'm taking the over between these two squads. What we've seen from Georgia this year is that their defense is good, but it's just not dominant. They've given up at least 13 points to every SEC opponent, which doesn't sound like much, but that's a defense that was pitching shutouts just a year ago. Meanwhile, you look at Florida, it's been 3 straight overs for the Gators, and you look at their defense, they gave up 33 to Kentucky, 39 to South Carolina. Graham Mertz, I think, can actually put up some points on this Georgia defense. He's been a nice little surprise for a Florida team that's 5-2, kind of surprisingly so. So in a rivalry match, even if Georgia is blowing out this game, I don't think Florida's going to throw in the towel. And oh, by the way, the over's hit in 4 of the last 5 for Georgia as well. So let's hit the over 49.5 between Georgia and Florida.
I cannot wait to watch it. The world's largest cocktail party begins at 3:30 in the East on Saturday in Jacksonville.
Pick six.
Well, you knew I was going to bet on Texas like I always do, or that I do most of the time, and I am taking BYU plus the points here. Ugh. Also, can I just have one weekend of Texas football where I'm not sweating a win against a team that we're favored by almost 3 touchdowns against? Good God. All right, here's the deal. Quinn Ewers, Texas quarterback, out for this game. Going to be out for at least a couple weeks. Malik Murphy will get the start. We could see Arch Manning, which is surprising to me, but Sark said yesterday we might put Arch in just to get him in there. Oh, great strategy. Let's just get him in for no real reason. Regardless, the game plan will be the same for Texas. Let's run the football. Let's take the pressure off these backup quarterbacks. Let's run the football, and they should be effective at that. However, Texas wants to dominate time of possession. That will take time off the clock, and that means that means that Texas will not be able to run up the score. At least I don't think they will. Also, Texas is really, really beat up in the secondary. And when you're such a huge favorite, if they can afford to rest some guys, I think they will, which means BYU might have a chance or two to score or at least keep this within the number. Money is flowing in on Texas. I don't see it. I think Texas wins, but I do think that BYU covers. It's a lot of, Double D, don't make me change my pick now. Don't make me talk about a 42-0 win where one of these backups comes in, or maybe it's Arch Manning, and maybe his era starts early, and maybe something happens to Quinn, and then in a few weeks, we're talking about a new Manning era in Austin, Texas, and all of a sudden, Texas wins the Big 12, they're playing for the national title, and it all started right here on this show.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Well, this happens when Double D plays the Texas fight song. BYU plus 19.5 is the play.
But I think my biggest question in the World Series is, can you continue to count out the Diamondbacks? Because so many people said, oh, there's no way that the Diamondbacks get past the Phillies. There's no way they get past the Dodgers. So once again, I'm saying, oh, the Rangers look like the better team here. Am I wrong for thinking this? Do we need to give the Diamondbacks a chance?
Yeah, of course. I don't think this series is tilted that far in one direction or the other. Now, at the same time, like for game one, for example, am I picking the D-backs or the Rangers? I'm picking the Rangers and go over the pick in a sec with you if you want. But no, I don't think you can count the Diamondbacks out. And you look at how they're built and how hot they've been. And it's been the pitching. I mean, we talk to players on foul territory every day, and that's what's standing out. I mean, we talked to multiple Dodgers, for example, and they're like, yeah, cool. Our starters did not pitch well in the NLDS, but also we can't put up 2 runs. And the same thing just happened in Philadelphia. The offense got shut down, and you talk to them and you're like, what happened? And sure, like they didn't hit, but also they said they didn't hit because the Diamondbacks can pitch. Their bullpen has emerged as a hot weapon right now, and it's just tough to face, especially when you get past that bridge, which has still been good between starter and end of game, which we saw in the last game. Kevin Ginkel and Paul Sewald are unstoppable right now. So that force, which turned into more than just 2 innings against the Phillies the other day, good luck if they're still pitching like that. So, I mean, good pitching beats good hitting most of the time in baseball. Now, that's not to say that the Rangers can match them in that department. But yeah, on paper, the Diamondbacks have the edge in bullpen for me, Chelsa. As far as starting pitching, I would give the edge to the Rangers, but I think it's pretty close. I would pretty much say a push, and then I would give the offensive side of things to the Rangers. I think that's a longer, deeper lineup with more power. But we've been proven wrong, and I bet there's people that have actually lost a lot of money on the postseason in general the last couple years. There's been a lot of upsets. I think it's fun and it's cool, and you don't want the same teams in all the time. And baseball, I don't know. Would you say baseball is a complainy sport fan-wise compared to other sports? You know, we can never change a rule. We'll see. And sometimes it's fun. Like, I'm cool airing it out. It's sports. It's all good, clean fun. But it's always talk about the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers. And then it's like, oh, well, here's Rangers Diamondbacks for you. Oh, unappealing World Series matchup. Why? Because you can't recognize most of the Diamondbacks at the airport. So, I mean, the Rangers have star power. I'm like, what do you want? You just want the top 2 seeds to make it and have every star there? It's just not how baseball works. And I think it's cool. It's got like the March Madness upset vibe to it, right?
Can you explain to me your theory behind ladders when you make these picks on player props? Because I think it's very interesting if you really like something and a different way to maybe look at a bet.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like betting parlays and these crazy lottos me and Chelsea were talking about in the break. This is a way to kind of play some juicier odds and be a little bit more responsible about it. If you find weakness in a standard line, like a 68.5, then there's a good chance the derivatives of that line, meaning the alt lines, still hold some value as well. So if I'm a unit better. For me, $25 is 1 unit. I will put $25 on over 68.5. Then I'm going to go to 80, over 80, over 100. I'm going to bring that bet size down to $15, $10. And then when I get to that final rung of, plus 650, I'll throw between, 5 and 7 on that. So your total investment on the play is anywhere from 1.5 to 2 units. but you're staggering it across different levels. So I've had a lot of success. I hit Alvin Kamara to not Thursday night last night, the week before. I went his alt line on receptions. His over-under was over 4.5. Played it all the way up to 9 receptions. Hit every single rung on the ladder. So it's a fun way to bet and get some odds, and it's not as risky as a parlay. So love doing the ladder plays if you find a good player prop you like.